everyone, welcome back to Art, Ladle, and Spade. It is Thursday here in Georgia and it is pouring outside. There's a nice mud effect going on out there in the yard. I wanted to come in and show you what has changed a lot over the past few days. Today we are looking at these are the blanket flower, and I had separated these out and gotten a lot of them into smaller, or I should say bigger pots, but I took them out of these pods, and these were what was left over after I separated. Probably I got maybe 15 different pots, 4-inch pots of these, and there's a lot left and there's a lot sprouting. There's second layer of leaves, and I did use the organic Neptune fertilizer for these, and they seem happy. Here are my, let's see, what else? My lupin seeds. So these are my lupin seeds. I also separated these out into individual pots, and they are seemingly happy. These were also fertilized with the Neptune fertilizer. And what else? I have my caladium bulbs here. I don't think anything's happening here. And I soaked these in fertilizer. No, I did not soak these in fertilizer. And my caladium. So the other day I was talking about my Blazing Star bulbs and my caladium bulbs. I got those at Pike's. I wasn't supposed to be in there. That's probably why I couldn't remember where I got them from. But anyway, I got caladium bulbs from Pike's, and I also ordered them from Amazon. And then I bought Blazing Star bulbs. I already have the seeds that I'm growing, but I'm trying bulbs as well. I definitely lost my lantana, as mentioned before in my last video. And right now it looks like my bellflower is not going to make it. So today I'm going to go downstairs and reseed the same pots with bellflower, and I'm going to put those under the grow light, and we'll see what they do. I'm thinking maybe they just didn't get enough light. What else went under the grow light? My ranunculus corms, I still don't see anything, but I have those under light as well. And I think that's it for the ones. So today I'm going to be repotting. I'm going to show a little bit of me repotting or separating the different flowers out. So I have coneflower that I'm going to separate out today. And I have, let's see, coneflower and my creeping thyme. I'm going to put my creeping thyme into separate pots. And so we'll see how those do. And also my heirloom yarrow and my summer berries yarrow will also go into, I'm saying smaller pots, but what I'm breaking them out of the pods and I'm putting into actually a little bit bigger pots. So they are going into pots this size. And then once they get really full, then I'll transfer them into the 6-inch pots. So this is what's going on today, and I'll show you in a second how I separate these out and get these repotted into larger pots. Welcome back. You are in the laundry room, and just a few tips before I get started. I am potting in the sink, but I have put the drain upside down, the drain stopper upside down in the sink, and that way when dirt goes down in there, it won't go down in the drain. And once I'm finished, I just take a wet paper towel and scoop around in there and then pour the soil back into my soil bag. So very little waste and nothing is going down the drain. Right now I have my potting soil. This is all-purpose potting mix, Vigoro from, picked this up from Home Depot. And this is what I've been using outside in the garden and while I'm doing this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm using my hands, I don't mind getting dirty. I'm going to go ahead and pre-fill my little pots with soil. And then I'm going to put a hole down in the middle. I'm going to water the soil, and then I'm going to put a hole down in the middle to give space for me to be able to place the root, the established root, all in the soil without pushing it down in the soil. And then I kind of gently push the surrounding soil around it to secure it in place. and then I water it lightly after that, and then I'll put it back in the sunroom on the table. And at first I was like, I'm not going to film this, but the funny thing is I actually find it soothing to do stuff, to watch stuff like this. So I watch Grow With Me. There's two guys who have a channel, Grow With Me Garden, and I absolutely adore them. They're a couple, and they're up, I want to say they're up maybe in, they're, wherever it is cold, and they get a lot of snow. But I really like watching them. And they show footage of them working in the garden, and I just find it very relaxing. And I find it very neat to be able to watch, to see how people tend to their yard. And so I said I'll go ahead and get some footage of me doing this, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to move this tray up a bit so I can go ahead and get the soil dampened a bit. And like I said, I'm going to put a hole down in there. And I have a tool that I've been using. It came with a kit. I believe it came with this. These little pots here. I'm not sure. Or it came with a kit for tagging the plants. And I also bought tape just in case. Just masking tape that I can write on and put on the pots. Steph from Hooked and Rooted says to go ahead and put several different labels on the plants, because she's right. As you're moving and planting, things get mixed up, and it's better to have them over labeled than under labeled, and you're staring at them trying to figure out what they are. So I picked up that tip from her to go ahead and put a tag in there, and then maybe write on the container, maybe get some tape and write the name on some tape and put it on there. I have several tags around, and so if you see here, I'm just putting a hole down in there. And again, it's to give some room, so when I put that root face down in the soil, then I'm not pushing it down in the soil. And I hope you can see this. So I'm using this tool here. I'm not sure where this came from, but it's amazing. And I just kind of scoop it up and get all of these lovely seedlings out of here, and then I separate it. And you can see in this tray, I've got one side that's very heavily full with seedlings, and then the other side has barely any. So I'm actually going to put a couple. I'm not going to put one at a time. I'm going to put 3 down in this hole. And you have to be careful with these because they'll break. So I'm just going to sit this on the side here so I can still see it. Whoops, I pulled that one too hard. One fell in the sink. I'm going to put this one in there on this side. I think I'm going to do 3 per pot, and then once they get a little bit bigger, then I'll separate them again. And you just have to be careful with these. These are the creeping thyme. I actually started with creeping thyme. Not sure what I said I was going to start with, but this is the creeping thyme. And let me get this down, and then I'll separate that a little bit more. But there was just a huge clump in there, and I was like, let me go ahead and get these pulled out of here before I start losing some. I have noticed if you let them stay crowded for too long, they will start to die off. So I'm trying to be cognizant of checking on these every day. When I wake up, I go into my sunroom and down in the grow light room just to check, to see how everything is doing. And I noticed the creeping thyme and the summerberry yarrow and the heirloom yarrow, they were getting pretty crowded. So this one here actually it's actually growing its second set of leaves. And putting this down in the pot. So you get the gist of it. I'm putting 3 per pot, and I'm separating them around the hole so they're not all piled up against each other. And I think I broke that one. I saw with my nail. You got to be careful. These things are very fragile. and I'm trying to preserve as many as I can. And I'm going to separate, I'm not going to, for those pods that don't have anything in them in this tray, I'm going to separate more of these clumps out and put those in those pods that don't have anything in them. And again, I'm going to put 3 of these per pot. I could probably put a little bit more, but the goal is not to overcrowd it and give them some space to really do their thing, to be happy. Don't worry, be happy. And yeah, you just got to be careful. You have to be careful. I did these with the lupin seeds over the weekend, and they're all very happy now. So I figure I might be doing something right. But it's not hard to break the root on these. They're just so thin. So as you can see, I've got 3 per pot. And I will put the dirt down in there and gently get those secured in the soil. And so I'll do this for the whole tray. And once I am finished, I will pop back in here and show you how I've separated them all out. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back. We are here on Thursday night. This is after I have attempted to thin and repot creeping thyme. Now, I will say this was the most comical moment I have outside of falling in the hole in the backyard. This was impossible. No, it wasn't impossible. This was a lesson learned because creeping thyme is very different from lupin. Lupin is thicker, much easier to divide. And now I see why people say to pay attention to how many seeds you put in a pod, because it was laughable. So if this survives the trauma that I put it through today, I'll be amazed. So I will say, moving forward, things like bee balm, my sweet William, which is somewhere over here, my summer berries yarrow, my, what else is this? My black eyed Susan, my, oh, this probably will be easier. The coneflower will be easier to divide. My alyssum, and no, my blanket flower will definitely be easier to divide. But things that are thinner, I'm going to wait till they get bigger. And I have learned my lesson not to put 9.6 million seeds in each pod, because it's ridiculous. And the heartbreak of having to thin these and waste seeds was just, it was painful. It was very painful. So I've learned my lesson. Right now I'm soaking my astilbe because I noticed the leaves are starting to droop a bit. And so I'm soaking these. I guess they just needed some water because plants need water. So they're getting big. And so I'm definitely needing to pay attention to the amount of water that they're getting. This right here, I don't know if anybody can send me a message. I'm going to be Googling what could be going on with these. It's not every leaf, but it's just like this one is looking pretty sad. There was this one here. So I don't know what's going on. Very weird. Now it's been gloomy today, but I don't think that would have made that much of an impact. Over here, I got another crocus. So these are the 4 that didn't have any, and I moved them together. So I've got one popping up here. My crocus here doing well. These are the ones I did soak in the organic Neptune fertilizer, and they seem to be very happy. I will pop over here. These are my blue hostas. Very, very happy. These are my these are my Home Depot find. This here is called a white feather hosta, and it's supposed to be a new type of hosta, and I got the bare root. There was one bare root in the pack. I got this off of Amazon. I have hope I'm trying to find the picture of it. I'm not sure what I did with the picture, but it's very, very pretty. So this is called a white feather hosta. And here are the rest of my, everything looks like it's thriving. This is the lupin I divided. This is more lupin. Oh, and I didn't show you my setup. So I have both of my shelves here for my plants, and I put my last one together. This is my $6 find from Dollar Store. So this, I'm going to get one more for this table here. And I actually might get one for my credenza and have two on either side, because this window gets a lot of sun. And yes, I will get two more over here. Now, I will say, as everything's starting to pop up, it's a bit overwhelming recognizing how many of these plants that I need to put into different pots and divide up. So next year might go a little bit lighter. That may be a whole lie. I may just have as many plants next year as I do this year, but as things are starting to sprout, it's definitely feeling a bit overwhelming. I'm not going to pop downstairs today. There's not much going on. Everything looks the same. I don't have anything new to report down there. But this is upstairs. This is my sunroom. Shelving is expanding, and I'm pretty happy with everything that's going on up here. But I will say, pay attention to how many seeds you put in each pod, because at some point you have to repot them, you have to thin them, and it's almost traumatizing to have to get rid of so many beautiful little seedlings because I just don't have enough pots for them. And I was a bit heavy-handed. And honestly, I wasn't sure these seeds were gonna sprout. So I've learned my lesson. Read the packet, do what the packet says. All right, I hope y'all have a great weekend. I might pop in here on Saturday or Sunday, but this is what I've done so far. Lesson learned with creeping thyme. Don't put 1,000,000 seeds per pod. All right, thanks for joining. See you next time.